अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तमाहुः परमां गतिम् यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालम् वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणम् तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम् तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते श्रुति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
We have been studying the 8th chapter. Welcome to all the people who are new and are joining us for the first time. We are studying an interesting portion about how life goes through cycles, the cycles of the unmanifest and the manifest, meaning that a tiger is a destructive creature. During the daytime, his daytime means during his manifested time, this destructive nature comes to the forefront. But during nighttime, that means his unmanifested time, this nature recedes back into nothingness. So too a mathematician, during his daytime, during his express time, he's a mathematician. But in his sleep, it recedes back to nothingness. This goes on with every living creature all along in their manifested times. That means their thoughts, their emotions, their actions, they're all expressed, they're all manifested. They're all there for us to see, for them to express themselves. And in the nighttime, in the unmanifested time, there's nothing there for anyone to see, the person or anyone else. Right? Now, this is a deeply philosophical concept. It's talking about how the vasanas, we all have vasanas, which is like inherent tendencies, and these manifest as our thoughts, as our desires, as our actions, and as our world. Because just think about how this thing works. You have an inherent tendency. That inherent tendency comes first to us as a thought in the intellect. Think about it. If you have a tendency towards painting, then you get a thought of painting. This thought multiplies itself and becomes a desire for painting, which then translates as the actual action of painting. This action then translates into a certain type of world, into a certain type of experience, which is what? Where will this person be found? He will be found with other painters. He will be found discussing painting. He will be found in a certain world that will become his world. So this unmanifest is the seed for this entire sprout, sapling, see a tree. The whole thing comes from that unmanifest. And when it's not manifest, it's back in the seed form. Just like the trees do, right? When we are driving to Lonavala, everybody who's in Bombay, I don't know how many of us are from Bombay, but you all know, as you drive to Lonavala, it's a brown landscape most of the year. And then suddenly after the rains, it's a green landscape. So when it was brown, what happened? The seeds were under the ground. They were not manifest. They didn't express. But let the rain fall, and all these seeds will express themselves in their full glory, just as we were. That's why in the 15th chapter, we'll soon be getting there, he talks about the sense objects being the buds, because from it will come the experience. Meaning that when you're in the right environment, those desires, those vasanas, those tendencies will come sprouting to the surface. Even the world's most hot-tempered person will not feel angry unless somebody is interrupting something, right? But let somebody interrupt something, and then we will see his full glory of how much anger he is capable. So just by saying that, I'm not getting angry, that's not enough. As that situation arisen, then we will see the full glory of whatever is within. So, The manifest and the unmanifest, they go on. When a husband and wife are living together nicely and not fighting with each other, this is the state of the
Unmanifest.
very good. This is the state of the unmanifest, because whatever fight there is, it is coming back up sometime or the other. We don't solve problems, and therefore they constantly recur. They just go to the manifest and the unmanifest, manifest and the unmanifest, expressed and unexpressed. That's it. So he was telling us about that this cycle goes on. So there is manifest as we are all now, unmanifest as we will be when we are sleeping. And besides all this, there is yet another unmanifest. There is still something unexpressed, which is not affected with all these manifestations. You can compare it to the earth, right? The seed is manifest and unmanifest. But whatever happens, earth continues the same. The waves go into manifestation. There could be a huge wave, and then they could subside, and there's no wave. But whether there is a wave or whether it's in the unmanifest form makes no difference to the ocean. The ocean stays ever the same. Similarly, that other unmanifest, Brahman, God, the ultimate reality, makes no difference what manifestations and unmanifestations, what is the cycle going on, makes no difference to that unmanifest. Whether it is a earring or whether it is a banger makes no difference to the gold. Stays ever the same. What Krishna is trying to tell us is that we are that unmanifest. We are the Brahman. We are self. And all these manifestations that go on don't make a difference to me. The body, mind, and intellect manifest, and the body, mind, and intellect don't manifest. But I stay the same. Or as in the poem, the brook, men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. Brahman stays ever the same. Whatever happens to the manifestation, nothing happens to Brahman. So that's what we had done up to verse 20. So let's see now, verse 21. What is that unmanifest? He's giving us an education on what is God. It's the big question that is there in everybody who's interested in spiritual life. He wants to know, what is God? Who is God? The sad part of it is, many people conclude what God is. If you conclude what God is, you are living in a state of, can anyone tell me?
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Enlightened.
No, Deepa, of ignorance.
Oh.
You're living in a state of ignorance unless, now you tell us, Deepa, unless
He's enlightened.
He's a realized soul. Unless he's enlightened. So if you are not realized, if you're not enlightened, then you claim to know what God is. This is only ignorance. You fight with somebody saying, my God is this and your God is that. This is only ignorance because we don't know what it is. We have no concept of the magnitude of what we're talking about. And therefore, better to finger on the lip. No reason to make comments about God whatsoever. So let's see now. What is he going to explain? What is Krishna himself going to explain about what is God? Verse 21. Avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tathama paramam mama. Avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyakto avyaktaha nama akshara. The avyakta is the akshara. Akshara, shara, that which perishes. Akshara, is only a negation. Whenever you write before a Sanskrit word, you are negating it, like vyakta, expressed, avyakta, not expressed, shara, perishable, akshara, not perishable. It's just the opposite. Like shoka, ashoka, just the opposite. So, what is that unmanifest? The other one, not the one we know, not our deep sleep, but the other one. For those, I think let's just go through that again. If it's not clear to anyone who just joined. Sorry, are you saying something to me? I can't hear you. None of these, Omkar. Let me try. Can I do share screen? Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, Janki.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's just revise what we did. Here is Om. I'm just representing it by any symbol. Okay, this is the state of apprehension, of knowing. Okay, when you don't know it, it is the state of non-apprehension, not knowing. And then finally, it comes to misapprehension. Right? So, what is the state of Om? It is enlightenment, it is self-realization. What is the state of non-apprehension? It is deep sleep. You know, in this state of deep sleep, we are in the state of vasanas. Our vasanas are not manifesting at all. We're just in the state of non-apprehension. We don't know anything. It's all emptiness. And then it manifests. What does it manifest as? It manifests as our dream state or our waking state, where we have thoughts, desires, and actions. Is that clear to everybody? So this is the unmanifest. Okay, this is unmanifest or unexpressed. And this is manifest. Okay, I hope that's clear to everyone. Is anybody new and this is not clear? Only this, please, because last time I said it's not clear and then we started talking about everything in the world. So only this aspect. Is it not clear to anyone?
Yes, I'm new, so I'm a little lost.
Who is this, Meera?
Jyoti.
Jyoti. Okay. What is the portion, Jyoti, that is not clear?
The third part.
Misapprehension?
Yeah.
Okay, misapprehension means misunderstanding. So let us say I see a rope and I don't know that that rope is a rope. Okay, then I'm in non-apprehension, I'm in ignorance.
Okay.
But then I claim that that rope is a snake. So that makes it a misapprehension, a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Right? So when I'm in deep sleep, I'm in a state of, I don't know. I know nothing. It's all blank to me. Ignorance. But when I come into my waking state or in dream state, then I'm think this is what it is, right? In the dream, I think I'm in London, I'm meeting the Queen, she is taking me to meet Charles. Okay, that's what I'm thinking is happening in the dream. In the waking state, what am I saying? You'll say, I'm attending Gita class, or I'm going to work, or I'm something. These are all the misapprehensions of life, that we think all these things are going on. So this is the misapprehensions, the misunderstanding, the not seeing the reality, but misunderstanding it to be something else.
Mm.
Is that clear?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Anyone else is not clear about any part of this?
And can you just repeat what the TDA stands for?
Thought, desire, action.
Okay.
Please feel free to ask anyone who's not understanding a particular point, because it all builds up. So if the base is not clear, then later on gets confusing. So let's just go through this again. There is the state of Om. You can put any symbol, okay? You can put X, you can put Y, you can put cross, you can put crescent, you can put any symbol of your choice. In any case, it all represents that unknown, that unmanifest. Okay, when we are in the state of vasanas or deep sleep, we don't know that. We don't know that reality. We don't know the truth. But when we come into our dream or waking state, we come into some kind of expression or manifestation of our vasanas, then we misunderstand it to be something else. So what this verse says is, he already told us about the unmanifest and the manifest. He told us about this cycle, right? He said this cycle goes on. What he's saying now, is that there is yet another, which is this one, another unmanifest. That unmanifest is Akshara, is imperishable. So what is the state of Godhood? What is that state of the ultimate being? It is imperishable. There's no cycles going on there. Now, how do I get out of this? Like Abhimanyu, I've come in and I don't know how to go out from here.
What does SR stand for? R?
Self-realization. Which one? Under the Om, right?
Under the Om. Yeah.
Yes, self-realization, enlightenment, knowing the ultimate truth. All of these are synonymous terms. Okay, all clear, everyone? Anyone has any issues with this? All right, everyone? Please don't feel shy to say I don't understand. It's always better to prove yourself to be a fool once than to stay a fool. So don't think that we should not be asking any questions. Please feel free to ask. Only try to keep the question relevant to the point that we are currently discussing. Just if it's not clear, we will have a question answer session for other things later on. Right? So this much is clear. So what is he saying in this verse? Now in this verse, he's saying that's unmanifest. Om is called the imperishable. That is the Paramam Gatim. It is the goal. What is the goal of human existence is to reach that. Now you may say, "Are yaar, ye kya ye log bolte rehte hain? Why is it my goal to reach that? I don't want to reach that. I want to be CEO of my company." What is this reaching self and all? So you have to stop and think, really, what is your goal in life? What is it you really want? Stop and think this thing through. What is it that you really want? If you claim, I want to be the CEO of my company, or I want to have a very happy marriage, or I want to bring up my child very well, or I want to be the world's greatest artist, whatever it is you claim that you think is your goal, one thing that must be clear to us right from the beginning is understanding that whatever we claim to be our goal is only a method, a means. For what? What is that a method or means for?
Self-realization.
Permanent happiness. Just
Happiness.
a means, yes. It's just a means for happiness. I believe I will be happy only if I reach that goal. That's all there is to it. I will work very hard. I will struggle. I will gain that goal. But what is it for at the end of the day? It's only for happiness. But when I do get the goal, what is going to happen next? I'll be very happy. I'll be so excited. Oh my God, I'm CEO now, or I've won Wimbledon, or I've achieved whatever it is I want. Then what? Is that the end? Of course not. If you won Wimbledon, is that the end? What will happen now? Don't you want to maintain that crown? So there's no end in these things, because it will always appear that when I get the next level, I will find happiness. So at what stage are we ever going to say, this is it, I don't want anything more? Can you ever think of that? It's not possible, right, for a human being to ever say that. Will we ever in our life come to a stage where we say, that's it, I don't want anything more? That sounds impossible. But why is it always sounding impossible? Why is it that none of us can say, that's it, I don't want any more? None of us can say it. This is Ramatirtha's explanation. Nobody can say, I don't want any more happiness, because a human being will always stretch out towards infinite happiness. So what we want in life really, if you really think about this, is only infinite happiness, and we will never rest content until we get it. Everything else is only a means to get it. By infinite happiness, we mean a happiness which is there all the time. It's of the most superior quality, means it is infinite quality, and it's always there. But you can't even conceive this possibility. How can you always be happy? How much happiness can you have after all? And yet we are all in the mad pursuit of that infinite happiness. What is Krishna telling us? Is he telling us that is wrong? He can't, because that is so inherently us to look for that infinite happiness. It's so inherently us. He can't tell you that's wrong, because it's not. How can it be wrong? We will do that. You can't tell somebody not to do that. Then what is he telling us? He's not telling us don't be in pursuit of infinite happiness, because that's impossible. We always will be. And what is he telling us? He's telling us this infinite happiness which you seek is over here. You're running after it in the wrong direction. That's what he's saying. If you claim to be wanting to go to Kashmir, and you turn to go southwards, then your guide will tell you, if you wish to go to Kashmir, it's there, it's northwards, it's not southwards. If you wish to go. If you don't wish to go, question doesn't arise. But if you are in the pursuit of infinite happiness, as every known human being so far has been, then there is only one place that you will find it, and it is in that imperishable, unmanifested self, God, X, truth, reality, transcendental, whatever word you choose to call it, it is only there. So that's what he's saying. It is the ultimate goal. Now, why is it ultimate goal? Because those who achieve that goal do not ask for anything else. In fact, they feel helpless if you ask them, what do you want? They can't answer that question. They don't know what to do. There are so many stories in the scriptures, such nice stories. There's a story that it's a very long and elaborate story, really. There was a man who was sitting in the Shamshan. He was sitting there, and Kali's people troubled him. Okay, all the Ganas, they troubled him. It's long and complicated. Read the Amar Chitra Katha, but the short form is this. And then they fought with him, whatever. And then Kali was quite contrite about it, that her people had troubled this sage who was just sitting peacefully in the Shamshan. So she goes to him after this whole fight and everything and says, I'm so sorry for all this. Let me give you a boon. What can I do for you? Give me a boon. So he said, I am just blessed to have your darshan. I don't want anything. Thank you very much. But Kali said, no, no, no. You must take something. Ask me for something. To make me happy, you ask for something. To which he, no. So he started looking around. And his foot, the story goes, had elephantiasis. You know, elephantiasis where the foot really swells up like an elephant's foot. So he looked at his foot. It had elephantiasis. So he said, hey Mate, I am so happy that you have blessed me with your darshan. And since you have so kindly offered me a boon, this is what I would like you to give me. Please, can you, this elephantiasis which is on my foot, which is on my right foot, could you please shift it to my left foot? You know what that means? He is so helpless to ask for anything. He can't even think of, let this go away. So helpless. He can't ask. Why is he so helpless to ask? Can you tell me?
Because he's
Because he has no
experienced infinite
desires.
happiness.
Because he's infinitely happy. What are you going to give him now that will make him more happy? What can you take away from him now that will make him happy? Nothing to give, nothing to take. Na lena, na dena, magan rehna. But when we reach that state of infinite happiness, there is nothing more to get, to lose, nothing. There's nothing to it. That's why it's called the ultimate goal, because after that, every struggle stops. You won't struggle after that. Because what are you going to struggle for? In chapter 2, he spoke about it. For those who study chapter 2, Apuryamanam machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. He is like the ocean, where millions and millions of tons of water can go into the ocean, millions of tons can be removed from the ocean. No difference. You can add, you can subtract. No difference. That's the state of a Rama. You give him a kingdom, same. You take his kingdom away from him, same. But how is that even possible? We can't do that, right? If somebody gave us what? An award, some award, any award, and then said, no, no, I'm sorry, I want to take it back. I get so angry. How dare you give it to me and then take it back? Is this correct? I don't mind giving it back, but I'm against the principle of it. So angry we get. Why is it? Because we have some dependence on that award. Our happiness is not complete without it. How can Rama give away a kingdom, the kingdom of Ayodhya, the most prosperous kingdom? How can he give it away? Its presence or its absence doesn't count. Doesn't affect his happiness. So therefore he just does what is the right thing to be done. Not affecting his happiness at all. When there is realization. Sangeeta, it's not that contentment is the key. You cannot superimpose contentment upon yourself. It is that when you have realized yourself, you will naturally be like that. It is not that, okay, let's all try to be content. It's all going to be hypocrisy if we try that. Because the fact is, we're not. Today we have to struggle. Today we have to strive. Today we have to reach out because we don't have that happiness within. And it is therefore correct for us to strive, to struggle, to reach out. We have to do that. If we don't do it, it will be hypocritical. But he is telling us, please do that struggle. Please do that strive to reach the self. Because when you attain that, you'll be absolutely fine, whether anything comes or goes. That does not mean that you should not attain whatever else you want in this world. Of course not. Because how can you be happy without those things? It's not possible. It's not saying don't do those things. It's saying do them, but always at the back of your mind, know your real purpose. Don't let go of that real purpose. You want to be a CEO? Please work for it. You want to be married and have a good family life? Please work for it. But in and through everything you do not forget Paramam Gatim. It's not a matter of worshipping God while I do everything. It's not that. It is knowing that your final destination is somewhere else. You have to do whatever you have to do in this world, but your final destination is somewhere else. This has to be well known to us. Otherwise, we will attain the state of going and coming, going and coming, going and coming. The manifest, the unmanifest. Many things will come, many things will go. Go on and on, the cycles will go on. And if we are riding those cycles, we have no option but to go up with the cycle and down with the cycle. We have no option unless your eyes are fixed on some permanent thing. That permanent thing is that other unmanifest. Avyakta akshara iti uktaha. It is called the unmanifest, the imperishable. Tam ahuhu. They call it that. Who's the they who call it that? Those people who have achieved it, the drishtas. They call it that. It is the paramam gatim. It is the supreme goal, the ultimate goal. Why is it the ultimate goal?
Because
What?
it is
Infinite
infinite
happiness.
happiness.
Because we will not rest content until we reach that point. Infinite happiness, which we want, which we are never going to stop without. You never stop unless you get that. So please understand what you're doing. The big thing about life is, can we go through life with our eyes open, or do we have to do this blindly? Do we have to reach a point and then know what that point is going to tell us? Or can we know it right here and decide what is a worthy point to reach? You can know it right now, right? That's the whole point of knowledge, that we know before the action. Every idiot will know after the action. You know something? All of us like to be famous. Lots of people are like, oh, they did a Harvard study apparently, and most of the people wanted to be very rich, and at least half the people wanted to be famous. We are very thrilled with fame. We want to be famous. Now think about this. Suppose I am famous. Okay? I'm famous like Elizabeth Taylor. Everybody knows Elizabeth Taylor, right? So I'm that famous. Now, Elizabeth Taylor was already that famous. Can I not examine what she went through? Do you know what she went through? Are you any idea? We want our face to come in the paper, right? Do you know what these actors and actresses do? They get so irritated with it. They sue the people. Taylor actually sued the people, the paparazzi who was taking a photograph. For what? For it to come out in the papers. They're so angry with it. Do you see what they do? They wear these hoodies. If you are a Bombay person, you will know. You hang out in the Bandra area and all that, and some specific areas, you will know these actors and actresses, small time, big time, whatever it is. Wear these hoodies and come. In Bombay, hoodie? Die on that. Now, why are they doing it? I want you to see. There used to be an actress who used to come to our class. She used to wear that whole dupatta around her face. For what? So that nobody knows that she is coming. And obviously, after some time, she has to remove it. You in Bombay, you can't sit with that thing around your face. Everybody knows, right? But she doesn't like it. So just think about it. I want what that person has got and doesn't want. Should I not know before I seek to pursue that? That's called living with knowledge. Isn't it interesting? Should I not live my life with my eyes wide open? Or should I go blindly through it? जब पहुंचेंगे वहां तो दिखेगा क्या हो रहा है. Isn't that a silly way of doing things? Oh my God, ऐसे हुआ, मुझे मैंने सोचा भी नहीं था ऐसे होगा. अरे क्यों नहीं सोचा भैया? What was so difficult? मैंने तो सोचा कि मैं I fell in love with this man and I married him. मैंने सोचा भी नहीं कि वो ऐसे निकलेगा. अरे भैया क्यों नहीं सोचा? You are linking your life to somebody. Should you not look at what you're linking your life to? Look, no? Don't have to also judge, but look at least. At the end, don't say, मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था. सोचा ही नहीं था तो सोचो. Knowledge does that. So what is he trying to tell us? Make sure that you know what is a good place for you to reach. Know that. And what is his suggestion? He's saying Paramam Gatam, that unmanifest. Why is that so good? Yam prapya na nivartante. Yam prapya na nivartante. When you reach that, there is no return. There is no return to what?
To sorrow.
Very good. To sorrow. There is no return. It's not possible. Now, can you tell me any other goal which can make this promise? Can you say, I have become Mukesh Ambani, I have become Bill Gates, I have become Warren Buffett, and I will never have sorrow? Can you say that again? Can you ever say that? I have become as famous as Amitabh Bachchan, or I don't know who's famous nowadays. Shah Rukh Khan or Justin Bieber, or I don't know. Who's top of the pops? Kim Kardashian. Whatever. I am as famous as these people. Can I be assured that I will not be unhappy again? And yet here is the goal. And should you get it, never be unhappy again. But you can also say, na, pata nahi kab wo pahunchenge. Arey, let me get my little bit at least. वो infinite happiness मिले या नहीं मिले, ये तो मिल जाए मुझे. You can argue like that, right? So think it through, my friend, before you start off. If you pursued money or relationships or health or whatever in the world it is that we like to pursue, we can make that whole journey very miserable because we're struggling to get that. And at the end of it, you may get it, you may not get it. Even if you get it, you cannot be assured that you will be happy on getting it. This is on one side. Now look at the other side. Every step forward you take in this spiritual path, more and more happiness will unfold within your own heart. Every step forward you take in the spiritual path, you'll become more and more successful in your worldly ventures. So even if you don't reach ultimate happiness, you can rest assured that you will get more from the world and you will get more peace from your own heart. This you can be sure. Why would it not be the ultimate goal? Why would you not work for it? Every step forward will give you commensurate benefit. And having reached, you can never lose it again. This is a very important concept of the Gita, where having reached that stage, you cannot lose it. And it comes about frequently. You'll find it coming over and over again. And the reason it comes is because of all these misunderstandings we have about God. Oh, mujhe Bhagwan ka darshan hua. In meditation, I was sitting and mujhe Bhagwan ka darshan hua. If you ever think that thought, replace it with what Krishna himself says. Yam prapya na nivartante. Which having got, there is no losing it. There is no losing it. It cannot be that you met God, you had breakfast with him, and then he went away. No, that can't happen. Yam prapya na nivartante. That state is such that having obtained it, you never lose it again. Tat dhama paramam mama. That is my supreme abode, which having reached, you cannot return. Now, if you think of this carefully, you'll realize this is true of any growth, isn't it? Suppose you learn English. Can you unlearn English? Can't be done, right? Every growth is like that. Suppose you grew up from playing toys, playing with your dollies and pollies and whatnot, into an adult. Can you go back and start playing with those Barbie dolls and those dinky? You can't do that. Suppose you did your BCom. Can you undo it? Whatever you know, you know. Whatever you never studied is gone now. Whatever you know, you know. So every growth is like that. Whenever you grow up, in any way, if you become a refined, cultured person, can you become unrefined? If you develop a fine ear for music, can you lose that ear? Can't, right? Whatever growth you have, you have. So if you grow up to that highest level, there can never be a return. In this subject, even if you get a smattering of it, you get far more contentment and far more productivity. Real productivity means you become more efficient in your work than through any other method. So that's what he's promising us. But we don't seem to believe him, or if we believe him, we say, he's very good, and we go and live our own lives. So it's very sad, really. Here is a practical way of how to live life, and instead of learning knowledge that teaches us about life, we have some crazy devotion to it. Oh, very good. Or we just ignore the whole thing. This is a practical subject where we will study how we go about understanding life and therefore living it properly. Now he's going to tell us some more about that ultimate goal. Verse 22. Purushassa para partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Purushassa para partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. So we have two adjectival clauses. We have a description of that, giving us the method of reaching it, having told us that this is what we should strive for. It is the ultimate goal. He gives us some method, the most important method. In the next chapter, 9th chapter, which of course we'll be coming to as soon as we finish this, contains the central verse of the Bhagavad Gita. The verse which is the fulcrum of the whole thing, which is in the absolute center, the geometrical center of the Bhagavad Gita. Is in that verse, he's going to explain this a little more, because the very fulcrum of spiritual attainment, in fact, it is the fulcrum of any attainment. But here he started this concept over here. He will do it, of course, in more detail later on. But here he's giving us the one thing that makes us achieve any goal, including, of course, the spiritual goal. In this case, he's speaking specifically of the spiritual goal, but it's true for any goal. Purusha Sapara Partha, that supreme being, that Purusha in the sense of being, not as a man, but in the sense of a being. Purusha Sapara Partha, O son of Prutha. Son of Prutha is Partha. Very affectionately, Krishna is talking to Arjuna, saying, O son of Prutha. How is that got, that Purusha, that ultimate being, Para, that ultimate Purusha, that ultimate being? How is it got? Bhaktya Labhate ananyaya. It is labhate, it is obtained. How? Bhaktya ananyaya. By unswerving devotion. Unswerving devotion. He has told us and gone away. Now we have to make sense of that. So people say, oh, I love God so much, I love God so much. That's not bhakti ananyaya. Ananyaya. Anya means others. Other. Ananya means no other. Bhakti means love. A single pointed devotion. A single pointed interest. A single pointed desire to reach that ultimate truth. That is bhakti. Not, oh, God, I love you so much. Please, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है तो थोड़े पैसे भेज दो. Oh God, I love you so much. मेरा बेटा इतना अच्छा नहीं कर रहा, थोड़ा उसका देख लो. This is not bhakti. This is beggary. There's a big difference between bhakti and beggary. Oh God, take care of me. Take care of my family. Beggary, not bhakti. Bhakti is love, interest, single pointed thought. You only want to achieve that one thing. That's it. And that's how you achieve anything in this world. When you want to achieve that one thing to the exclusion of everything else. No high achiever says, one day I will. This is, does, what is this? Does Sachin Tendulkar become God because one day he plays cricket, one day he plays football? It doesn't happen, right? Why is he God in that? Because it's Ananya Chinta. He can only think cricket. Some people say, oh, I didn't find a good guru. That's why I'm not developing spiritually. Ekalavya had a stone as a guru. And he achieved the greatest archery. So don't say, I don't have this and I don't have that. You need only one thing, which is single pointed attention, single pointed interest, single pointed love, whatever you want to call it. Nothing else. You can't think of anything else. And whatever it is that you are like that about, you're going to obtain it. Because what is there to stop you? You know, there's a story in the Ramayana that after the war and all, everybody was given something, in appreciation of their efforts. So Hanuman got a very heavy necklace. So the story goes that he put that necklace to his ears. It didn't say Ram Ram, so he chucked it. He's only one interest in life. Does it say Ram Ram or not Ram Ram? No Ram Ram, I'm not, nothing to do with it. What am I to do with it? Bhaktya Ananyaya. Ananya Bhakti. A single pointed interest. No other thought whatsoever. And that is the way you obtain the self. That is the way you obtain any goal in this world. So what is the nature? You are to think of it single pointedly. So it's telling you how. What are you going to think of? Yasya antastani bhutani. He's antastani bhutani. He's within all of us. Yena sarvam tatam, by which it is all pervaded. What a beautiful explanation of what God is. Given two characteristics. It is that which is within us. It is that which is outside us. Meaning what? It is all pervading. It's that which is within. It is that which is outside. Everything. Me, you, all of us are nothing but that one eternal self. There's no difference. The best of saints and the worst of sinners, no difference. You and I, No difference. The body, mind, and intellect of each one of us is different. But our original nature, the self, that ultimate reality, same in all. In the tree that moves in the breeze, the tree is the self, the breeze is the self. It is drenched in sunlight. That sunlight is. Where are you going to escape from that reality? For that reality pervades everything. How can you not think of it? How can everything in the world not remind you of it? You look at your screen. What is that screen? It is the self. What are the eyes that see it? The self. Who are the people you're seeing there? They're the self. Ananya Bhakti. You can only think of that. That's what Ananya Bhakti is. So when you have that kind of thing, you have to achieve this. You have no option. Whether you want it or not, you'll achieve this. If you have that bhakti towards anything in this world, you will achieve that thing. So Purushasya Parapartha Bhaktya Labhasya Labhate Labhaya Labhyaha Ananyaya. Ananya Bhakti. Yasya Antastani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. Yena Antastani Bhutani. Within all the beings. Yena Tatam. Tatam means pervaded. The whole. It is within, it is without, it is the whole. If you look at it like that, you can think of it all the time, in and through everything that is going on.
Hari Om Janki ji.
Yeah, Ganesh?
I have a question. I have two questions. The first question is, we speak about devotion to reach a goal. But if we are going, if you have chosen something wrong, we have to get out of it, right? So when do we know how to get out of a certain goal? What are some of the behavioral indicators?
You have to see what kind of person it is making you. If whatever you're pursuing is making you into a kind of person that you don't want to be, why would you pursue that thing?
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, very nice way of finding out whether you're pursuing something worthy in life is to always ask the question, is it benefiting everybody? If it is benefiting everybody, then it's a good chance you're on the right track.
Okay. But every activity might not benefit everybody, right? Like if we take a sport or if we do some a passion or a talent, but it can't benefit anybody.
Why not?
Or anything. Okay.
Give me an example. You say, I'm taking up a sport. How is it benefiting everybody? Well, it all depends on the vision. You can take, remember that lovely story about the the stone cutters? So there was a man. He saw that there was a line of stone cutters. Okay, so he met the first man and he said, what are you doing? So that man said, are you crazy? What do you mean, what am I doing? Can't you see I'm cutting a stone? So he said, okay. Then he went a little further and then he saw another one. So he asked, what are you doing? He's saying, kya bole my baap, I'm earning bread and butter for my family. Okay. Then he goes further. And third fellow, he is also doing the same stone cutting. And says, what are you doing? He says, I'm building a temple for the Lord. The same activity can be selfish, can be unselfish, can be selfless. It's not the activity that makes it so. It is why are you doing the activity that makes it so. For instance, in COVID times, that we keep ourselves healthy is a national duty, isn't it? So you do your exercise, you eat the right type of food, and you keep yourself healthy as part of a national duty towards it, not national, international, towards humanity. One of our duties in today's world is to keep ourselves healthy. But it all depends on what are you doing? What are you seeing?
Okay.
That's what makes it so.
My second question is, we speak about introversion, an introverted person being close to self-realization. I mean, may have interpreted it. Is it true? Because sometimes being an introvert may not give you that much happiness or excitement, or it might make you feel dull. So what is that relation?
You've taken the word introvert from sort of a dictionary meaning a quiet person not doing too much in life. That's not what introvert means. Introvert actually is a philosophical usage that comes from, let's see if I can do this over here. Okay. Let's look at this. Oh gosh, where did that thing go now? Okay, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, Ji.
Okay, so here is the self. Okay. Philosophically, we say that the self is enveloped in these layers. Technically, it is Panchakosha, but since we use body, mind, intellect, we'll use body, mind, intellect. Okay, so here. So this is the self, and it's enveloped firstly by the intellect here, closest, then the mind, and then the body. Okay, so becoming introverted philosophically means you shift your attention from the body to the mind, and from the mind to the intellect, and from the intellect to the self. That's what it means. That's what introverted means here. So shifting your attention from the body to the mind means from physical you become an emotional person, from emotional you become an intellectual person, from intellectual you become a spiritual person. So in that sense it's introverted. You're going within, means you're going within towards the self, not introverted in the sense of you're a quiet person, because Krishna by no definition is he an introverted person. By our definition, he's most extroverted. But philosophically, he's the most introverted person because attention is always on the self. Is that clear?
Yes, Ji. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, so then that's it for this time. Next time we will do an interesting portion about Punya and Papa. I think our friend Sarthak will be interested in what is Punya and Papa and what happens after you do it. Okay, Hari Om.
Hari Om Janki ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Janki ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Janaki ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Thank you very much.